And welcome back, everybody. Thanks for sticking with us. Jerry Kraus, our guest, Executive Director of the Stanley Theater, and he's going to be in that role until, what's your last day?
February 28th.
February 28th.
Yeah, a few more weeks.
And then after that, you'll stay involved. And as you look back when you started as Executive Director to now, how would you describe that period of time?
My main mission coming in, Joe, was to get that theater busy, because the more events we had, the more money we could get coming in, and the more revenue we could start paying off some of the old bills and putting some money away for improvements and to bank some money to go out and book some acts. So we accomplished that. It took a little while, but we did it.
The financial footing of the Stanley, how would you rate it?
Yeah, well, we made a few bucks last year. We did okay, and we did more than we did the year before, which was more than the year before. So the trending is going up, and that's a good thing. And by doing that also, we've had the opportunity to add a little bit to the staff. God bless my staff and the volunteers. I certainly couldn't do any of this without them. And we've had the money to provide some upgrades and some repairs to the Stanley. So if I ever had to pick a time, Joe, to hand it off, I certainly wouldn't want to do it in times of trouble. I would stay there and work at it until we kind of turn the corner. We've done that now. So now I feel comfortable about handing it off and maybe stepping back and being a mentor for a little bit and kind of helping the theater go forward with new energy and new ideas from Lisa.
What was something that you didn't get to accomplish in those years?
We've talked about this in the last couple of shows. I wish I had a chance to bring in Joe Bonamassa, who I know Joe. You know, we both grew up in Yorkville. He was a few years younger than me, but I know his family. And we tried to get Joe to come back to the Stanley. He hasn't been there in a while, but he's a world touring guitarist, a blues rock legend in his own right, and I wanted to get him back. We never could accomplish that.
I've talked to so many people who don't understand why he hasn't been at the Stanley.
Well, I guess you'd have to ask him direct and get a direct answer. I'm a little bit confused sometimes myself, but you know, Joe is very busy. He's booking his shows all over the world. He's played with Eric Clapton on the Royal Albert Hall stage over in London. He's everywhere, and he does play in upstate New York. We just always hope that maybe this is the year that Joe's going to come back home to the Stanley and come and do a show for his hometown fans.
That would be huge.
It would be great.
Yeah. Anything else that?
No, there's a lot of things that we're working on, a lot of new ideas. We just had the high school musical preview last weekend, Joe, and I got to tell you, we bring 5 different high schools out. They do segments from their spring musicals. This was our 4th year. That really is one of the shows I enjoy really being a part of and watching these students come out and shine on the Stanley stage. And maybe someday they'll make it to Broadway and go on tour with the show, and they can say it all started at the Stanley Theater in Utica. Maybe we can, in the future, try to get some of the youth musicians from the high schools to come in. We're trying to get that idea going forward. Maybe the jazz bands or the orchestras or the choirs from the high schools can come in and also shine on the Stanley stage. We really want it to be part of the community's theater. It's such a gorgeous, beautiful theater, 3,000 seats. So no matter if you have 200 or 300, 400 up in the front on the floor level, the orchestra level, or fill the theater, sell it out at 3,000. Either way, we just want to keep the theater busy and have people come in and feel proud about accepting the theater as their theater here in this area.
What kind of shape are those seats in?
They're not bad. I think they were replaced maybe back in the 80s or whatever. And certainly, Joe, if we won the lottery and we had a big wish list, I talked to some theater directors around us, and some of them are looking at, and it's a big dollar amount to redo their seating, make them a little wider, make them a little more comfortable, and it's millions of dollars. But we're not there right now. We're not in dire need of new seats, but maybe down the road someday we'll do that.
Are you in need of volunteers?
We're always in need of volunteers. We have a dynamic volunteer crew of over 130 on the roster, but we're always looking for new people. The easy way to do that is go to our website, thestanley.org. There's a spot to get the ball rolling, get signed up, and we're having orientations. We're adding new people to the squad as we go. Be a part of the team, and then you get to watch the shows as long as it's not sold out.
And you know, they are the nicest people, the ushers and the people at the door.
They'll show you where your seat is. They'll show you to where the concession stand is. Some of them are greeting you at the door with the capes on. Welcome to the Stanley. And they're selling merchandise and concessions at some of our events. We love our volunteers.
If it hadn't been for that big grant that you got, what year was that when you did all the work for the stage?
2008.
2008. If it hadn't been for that 2008 grant, and Senator Griffo was involved with that?
This was a huge undertaking. We had money from all of our governmental agencies. We had private money, we had fundraisers, we had corporate support. It was a big combination of a lot of people helping to get that done.
If it hadn't been for that, you wouldn't have been able to do a lot of these shows, correct?
A lot of those shows wouldn't come in because the stage wasn't big enough, or we'd have to just limit it to certain shows that could come in. The load in and the load out was from a garage door type of one flight
King
up,
Street, wasn't it?
right behind where Swifty's restaurant is now. It's on the back side of the
Yeah.
Stanley. It's actually on street level, but it's one level up from our stage. They'd have hoists and pulleys
watched
and
that
ropes,
once, yeah.
and a lot of places in the middle of winter and storms and heat in the dead of summer would say, we're not coming back here anytime soon. This was a real pain.
Yeah.
But now, the loading ramp right off Genesee Street, the trucks back up, and they roll right onto the stage, like 40 feet away, right on, and they're ready to go, and they're ready to roll off, load the trucks up, and get out.
Yeah, you know, one of the things that I noticed too is when there's an event going on at the Stanley, the Utica Police Department works hard out there. with
We have a great relationship with Chief Williams and the whole staff of the UPD. They help us direct traffic out front. We have some come in for security, and they're very helpful. The Utica Fire Department is very helpful with us. We have fire marshal on location for some of our bigger shows, and safety is very important to us, Joe.
Yeah.
We're very, focused in on what we can do to make everybody happy when they come in, comfortable, feel safe, and really enjoy the shows.
We've only got a couple seconds left, so before you give me that, which I'm going to make sure you give to me, somebody told me once that in the loge, in the first rows of the loge upstairs, are the best sounding seats in the place.
Everybody has a favorite. I always say there's no bad seat in the Stanley Theater. Yes, the loge, the front 5 rows of the balcony. Some people say that's their favorite spot.
Yeah.
It's the front row of the loge. You kind of look over everybody. But personally, myself, I like about halfway back on either side, or on an aisle seat in the middle. I mean, I'm not fussy, but
Okay.
Everybody has their own comfort spot. Joe, on behalf of all of us at the Stanley Theater, I got a beautiful historic
Oh, good.
memento here, a souvenir from us to you. Stanley Theater, this is the 90th anniversary shirt from 28 to 2018. We want you to have
Well,
this.
thank you.
You've been such a friend to
Well,
the theater.
thank you, thank
You've
you,
been
thank
such
you.
a good friend of mine over the years.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. And Joe, I think sometime, maybe I got some free time coming up, maybe I should come and interview you sometime.
All right. Good. Continued success to you.
Thank you, Joe.
That's going to do it for us this week. We'll see you next time. Until then, take care of yourself, everybody.